Saw this from Jason Kidd. So Jason Kidd has spoken. People think that Jason Kidd's like every time Frank Vogel gets up, Frank Vogel is going to have like the backup camera always on. What did we do before the backup camera? Right? In the world's greatest inventions, we always say like, it's the greatest invention, sliced bread. But now, since many of us don't eat bread, why don't we change the expression? It's the greatest invention since the backup camera. Right? Like you get in a car and you don't have a backup camera. You're like, wait, hold on. I got to do this. Oh, my neck. Oh, my neck even doing my an owl? Oh, moving around left, moving around to the right. The backup camera is the greatest invention ever, and I will hear nothing. Now, you're not technically supposed to just simply stare at the backup camera like an old lady, like, oh, I got to avoid that. But that's what we all do. Actually, what we do is we got our cell phone in one hand and the backup camera in the other, and we're tweeting and texting and backing up and hoping we don't hit something. The funny part about the backup camera and the sensors we have now in our cars, how many of you have a car that has those beep, 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 sensors and you get annoyed because they're a little overreactive? Like you have a computer that actually gives you a heads up that you might hit something and you are the one who gets mad. Anyway, backup camera. So Jason Kidd, who we haven't heard from since we thought for sure he was stabbing Frank Vogel in the back, right? Like anytime Frank Vogel gets a pat on the back from Jason Kidd, he's feeling for blood somewhere on his back. But the Hall of Famer said, quote, when you talk about Anthony Davis, he can put the ball on the floor, he can pass. We all know he can shoot the three. He can post up, defensively block shots, rebound. He has the total package, which is why he's one of the best players in the world. So for us to have him with LeBron, Kuz, and Rondo, and how'd Rondo make this list? It just makes it that much easier. This will be the first time, his first time playing with someone like LeBron. Well, duh. There's the Captain Obvious. Someone like LeBron. He's been on bad teams. Now he's in the team with a guy who's been the best player in the league for a good portion of years. I do think that this is how most people view Anthony Davis, as a top 5 NBA star, only we haven't seen him be a top 5 NBA star because in addition to being small market and not having the best management and all the other issues that worked against the Pelicans, they would have injuries anytime they got to the playoffs as well. And Anthony Davis had to evolve. Like he was really young and had to really change and fix and work on his offensive game and become a shooter. Like when they first made the playoffs, here's a little factoid. Do you know the only time that Oklahoma City didn't make the playoffs in the last decade? It was the Pelicans made it instead of them. It was like 5 years ago. And it was Scotty Brooks' last year. Kevin Durant missed 51 games. And they missed it because Anthony Davis made a three, I think on Christmas Day, in Oklahoma City. It was his only three-point shot made of the year. That's it. So he's gone from that being, a mid-30s three-point shooter. And by the way, every player, I believe, on the Lakers is a 30% plus three-point shooter. So now all of a sudden you got from that to being able to shoot, handle the basketball, versatile. He's always been great defensively. He's a good passer. He's viewed in league circles as a top 5 player. Now, NBA league circles, top 5 players when you say top 5 players, somehow there's 10 guys in the top 5. Like, well, you got KD, but he's hurt. And you got LeBron, but he was hurt. And you got Anthony Davis, and you got Steph. I got James Harden, you got Giannis. Like, well, you're at 6. How do you have, trust me, they're all top 5. But Anthony Davis is in that group. And what's maybe most interesting is, though the Clippers are huge winners, and I'm not trying to diminish what the Clippers have done. Right? You hire a tremendous management team. You have a sitting head coach who's been an NBA champion. You establish a remarkable culture of guys that other people have passed on or moved away, like the Houston Rockets, who made that trade for Chris Paul. And you build a culture. You have the quality coach. You have great front office work, and you have an owner who wants to build his own arena, going to build a new practice facility. Like, everybody's kind of all in, all pulling the same direction. And if you grew up in L.A., and I grew up in Southern California, Orange County, it's the county south of Los Angeles County, the idea that anyone, let alone two-star players, would pick the Clippers over the Lakers sounds like the beginning of a joke that ends with a very funny punchline. But it is not. It is not. All that said, Anthony Davis or Paul George? Anthony Davis. LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard? This one's hard because LeBron wasn't his old LeBron self last year. Statistically, it was great. He's not the same. But LeBron's done it for longer and better. And then you look at the ancillary parts, and Kyle Kuzma's coming into his own. Like, that's 75 points to start every game. Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You're starting with 75 points. Starting with it. Then you add in Danny Green, who didn't shoot well in the playoffs, but had a great year shooting the ball and doesn't need the basketball. So I look at the Lakers and I think they bring back some guys that have been through it with the Lakers, so they don't have complete turnover, just like the Clippers. And while they don't have the culture of the Clippers, they have LeBron back. They have Anthony Davis, who's hungry to win. They have Kyle Kuzma. Like, they're the co-champions to win this thing. LeBron's got to stay healthy. He's got to show that he can be lighter on his feet. He has lost weight. But I kind of think what Jason Kidd's saying is, don't you people understand how good Anthony Davis is? Like, look, Paul George has had multiple shoulder surgeries now, and he's a good player. He's not viewed as a top 5 player in the league. Anthony Davis is. And that's what Jay Kidd's saying.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.